What's your name?
Lexi.
Lexi.
I'm Marlisha. That's Emma.
And
And that's Renee. Okay.
And when you want to go to break,
Baby,
She said she wanna
take
go to
off
break.
the clothes and come on.
do the podcast.
Turn off the lights.
Okay.
This girl is on.
Oh my God. You must have a good time this weekend.
I have a good time at Lights every day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who's coming in first?
Well, at least.
Are you an indie podcast or content creator looking to reach a wider audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcastic, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcastic, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with a growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcastic is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering Are you an indie podcast or content creator looking to reach a wider audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcastic, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcastic, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with a growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcastic is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering a range of resources to help you succeed. From tailored promotional campaigns to professional production assistance, we're here to help you shine. Our intuitive platform makes it easy for you to be seen and heard. We do all the heavy lifting for you. You just show up and create. Plus, with our advanced analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with podcasting. Visit our website at www.podcasticlife.com to get started. Podcastic, the home for indie podcast and content creators.
The content you're about to hear is a part of a paid programming segment. The views, opinions, and statements expressed belong solely to the sponsor and do not reflect those of Podcastic or its host. This segment is for informational and promotional purposes only and should not be considered as advice or endorsement. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey. It's echoing. Hello? Okay. Normally we have like an introduction, like music or something. We did. That was it. Okay. Well, happy Thursday, everybody. It's your girl, Broken Marlisha Darnell. I think it was the echo threw me off. We are here again on another amazing Thursday to talk about real estate in Detroit. We have a special guest here. She's the best out there. She's going to have a bunch of resources for us, a very special guest. But I'm going to kick it off to my co-host, Emma.
Hey. What's up, everybody? How you doing? We're having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, the applause was so short. That's what I'm saying. That's what we missed, the applause in the intro. There we go. All right.
Hey, everybody. What's going on? Happy Thursday. As always, that sun is shining and I'm feeling good. We got that extra hour, didn't we?
I can't hardly hear you.
We got that extra hour.
I can't hear you.
You got to move up to the mic.
We got the extra hour.
Yeah.
Can you
No,
hear
we
that?
lost the hour.
We lost the hour.
We lost the hour?
Yes.
We got extra sunshine.
Yeah.
I could take I could keep the hour.
No,
sleep.
I need the
I know,
sunshine
right?
because I can get off work and I can get my run in.
woke
But
up in
that's
this
just me.
church.
That's just me. But anyways, welcome you guys. Thank you for joining us for another Thursday of Podcastic: A State of Mind. We have Renee with us today, and she's with Mature Real Estate Services, and she's going to fill us in on a lot of the resources in the city that we're always talking about, but we never have anyone to reference that information for us, or just those resources where we like, look, you need to call this person for taxes. You need to call this person for Section 8 money. You need to call this person for Section 8 financing, all the great stuff. But I'm not going to hold you. I'm going to turn it over to Renee.
Ooh,
Yes.
Thank you, guys.
We ain't got no applause for Renee either.
No applause.
I get my own applause.
Hey,
Something's
Renee.
missing.
Miles? That's what's missing.
It's something in this microphone.
No, we can hear good.
Okay.
Let's give it to
Speaking to the
Renee.
mic.
I'm sorry,
Speaking
Renee.
to the mic.
Okay.
Yeah. So I am Renee Johnson. I am the associate broker at Mature Real Estate Services, and I originally got my license in 2004.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I got my license was because I thought about my family's journey for home ownership. When my mother first bought our, the first house that we lived in and she
Right.
bought, I was gonna say I bought, but I didn't. She bought it from my math teacher when I was in the 7th grade, sixth or seventh grade, and I didn't really understand how it really worked.
Right.
I just knew we were leaving the projects.
Oh, wow.
And so when we moved in, that sense of pride I had in the neighborhood, that was Brightmoor. They didn't want us there, but we stayed, right? We built the home and we cut grass and we cleaned. We did those things that homeowners do.
Right.
Well, the parents make the kids do, right?
Right.
Yeah, that.
But I just remembered that. And for me, when I left Michigan, I went away to school, lived in a couple other states. And then when I came back in 2002, I'm like, what am I going to do? I worked in IT up through actually 2022. I was still working in IT while I was building, my real estate business. But for me, it has always been helping people, helping my community. And I remember that my mother was on the board of tenant affairs in Smith Homes. She ran the rec center. If you wanted to have a party, you had to come see my mama to get the keys, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I just remembered that we had that community then. And we still have that community, but there's still bits and pieces of it that people don't understand, and how we need to work together and share our resources.
Yes.
And do what we do to pull up the person coming up behind you, because this is our future.
Exactly.
And,
Yeah.
and so when I got my license, me and a friend went to the class. We studied together. We partnered and and started out together. We were at one place. I started out doing REO business.
Okay.
And what's REO, just for people
The
that don't know?
real estate owned. That's
Okay.
when somebody is losing their home, or they have lost their home.
Okay.
And it's assigned to the real estate company to manage and to go out and check for occupancy.
Okay.
See about getting the person out and getting it cleaned up and put on the market so that it can be sold.
Okay.
Right.
So how was y'all compensated?
So we were compensated. There's a referral fee. If they
Okay.
give you something in real estate, if somebody hand you something, it's probably got a referral fee attached to it, right?
Okay.
And so they gave us the properties to manage with the referral fee.
Okay.
So once it's sold, they took their 35% off the top, and then
Okay.
whatever your split was, you got the split.
Okay.
Okay, you're split with your broker?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So my first house I sold was in Highland Park on, I think it was Oak Street, $6,000. It was an
Okay.
REO property. When I tell you it was something, because the neighbor was calling every week.
What?
They selling dope out of the backyard. You need to get over here. I said, sir, I'm not coming over there.
Like you the police?
Was they really selling them?
Yes, they were.
Oh,
Because
Out the backyard of the house you was selling?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I would go up to the property, and the gutter would be hanging, and he'd run out the house and like, hey, they in there now. But when I would walk up to the door, I could hear somebody going out the back.
Oh,
so I would
goodness.
open the door. I would look in. I'm like, well.
Oh, you was brave for opening the door looking in.
Because I knew they were gone. I would
Right.
just
Yeah.
open it, look, take a quick picture, and then I close the door and get back out of there. It was like, there was no way I was going up in there,
Right.
right? And that business still exists today.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how it's still being done, right? They give those properties to the agents,
Okay.
and and they manage them, to get them sold. It is a lucrative business, and right now, where the REOs were not that many, they're starting to resurface
Again?
with tax foreclosures, with the mortgage foreclosure. So we have a crisis that's
Really?
actually building, and so what I've been doing is fast forward to being in real estate and really being associated with what's happening in the community. One day I had moved from that office and was up in West Bloomfield. And one day my manager, he was a member of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, the local chapter here.
Okay.
So right now we have 113 chapters around the U.S., but he was a member of the chapter here. I had no idea that this organization even existed.
Wow.
So one day he wasn't able to go to the meeting. He said, Renee, I need you to go to this meeting.
Okay.
Check it out and tell me what you think. And I was like, okay. I went and I said, wait a minute. there's a whole bunch of people here, right? You know, and it was a whole bunch of people that looked like me.
Oh.
And I was like, where these people come from? How come I had never seen
them.
any of these
Right.
people before? And so from that day till now, I've been a member. I've been working with this group, and the group is so phenomenal because we have 113 chapters around the U.S. And so what we do is we can refer business to
Okay,
each other.
okay.
We can partner with different programs or development things that people,
Right,
because
right.
everybody wants to come to Detroit,
And,
right?
and do development. And
Right. And
yeah.
then you have, if you want to go into another discipline in real estate, there's affiliates, right?
Okay,
I got
okay.
my housing counseling license from there. I'm working on my appraiser license.
Okay.
They have a developers cohort.
Is this a local chapter now, or is this?
So we have nationwide with the
Yeah.
National Association of Real Estate Brokers, and then locally we have the Greater Detroit Realtors Association.
Which is the one you're Madam
Which is
President
the
of.
one I'm the president of.
Okay.
I've moved up from the secretary to a director to a vice president. I was board chair before I was president. And so now being the president, it's a 2-year term where you're actually leading the charge of the organization, you know, out in the communities and, you know, coming up with programs for the members.
So the resources, what
The
locally?
resources. Oh, when I say resources, so because we're working, our motto is democracy in housing,
Okay.
right? And what we're doing is we study the state of housing in Black America, and we're looking at what those numbers look like. And so we're saying that we're still at 40-something%. We got to
For
get
home
up,
ownership.
For home ownership. We got to get up to 70-80. How do we do that? We do that with advocacy. We do that with home buyer education. We do that with participating in, like, now they got like the HOPE program, like helping people get signed up to, you know, possibly save their home
Since you
for
mentioned
taxes.
it, what's the HOPE program?
The HOPE
Since you tapped on
program
it.
is one of the programs that they have with the Wayne County Treasurer, and you're basically signing up to get help with paying your taxes.
Your delinquent
Your delinquent taxes. They're not giving you money, but they're helping you to understand. You may qualify for a tax credit that you didn't get, you know, that you haven't received.
Mm-hmm.
You may need to be on a payment plan so you can start paying,
Okay.
you know, what you owe and then what you have coming up, right? Get on some type of payment plan. And then after that, you need to look at, are you over assessed, right? You might need to call the assessor and go to the assessor and say, hey, I need you to come out, check my property out and let me know what it's really worth. Because a lot of people have a house. Back in the day, you had a house and a garage. The garage may be gone.
Oh, but they're still assessing
And
you
they're
for
still
the garage.
assessing you for the garage, right?
That's good to know.
You may be maybe you bought the house from an investor and you never turned in your principal residence exemption. You still be in charge as you were the investor when you should be claiming your primary residency. And I know you know this as a you know, working in title. When you close and you give people that form, you're saying that before the 45 days, you need to go ahead and mail that form. A lot of people don't do it because they think the tax is going to go up and all of this stuff.
Right.
And so, you know, so with the HOPE program, and really I like it because there's like hope, right?
Yeah.
Right.
There is a lot of resources that people just don't know, and they're afraid to call. They don't open the mail, and they listen to people that don't know nothing, right?
Can we get a round of applause for that?
Like my mother
Listen
used
to
to
the
say.
don't knows, right?
My mother used to say, I don't need no help from the peanut gallery, right? There's all the people that's back there telling you what, and some people have been burned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some people have lost their houses. Some people, and really at the end of the day, what we really realize is that we have to work in our communities and pull the people up.
Amen.
And meet them where they are and see what they need, right?
Right.
So I just make it a point of going and finding out what that information is. I put it in my phone. Last week, I created a binder with all these flyers for all this stuff, right? Because
Okay.
I'm like, somebody going to ask me something. I ain't going to be able to find it in my phone, right?
So you
I'll be putting a binder because I'll be sitting there and I can just flip through it.
So you're more of a paper person.
That's where I come
she a
from,
tree
right?
killer.
Yeah.
She a
I'm-
tree killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I grew up with a planner.
I'm teasing.
I still use a planner,
I
and
got
I
one
still
too.
use my calculator.
Yeah.
I mean, my online calendar. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to provide those resources, and I'm making sure that if I have it, I need to share it with somebody else.
Exactly.
And one of our
Yeah.
elder members, I love when she said this. She said, just because you tell somebody something doesn't mean that you don't still know it.
Right.
And
Do you still do the home buyer?
Yes.
Homebuyer education classes?
As a matter of fact, we have a class coming up this Saturday.
Okay.
From 10 to 2, and we're going to be at the Chase branch on Dexter Avenue, 12840 Dexter Avenue, from 10 to 2. And so what we do is we talk about the process for buying a home and how right now is important because there's still a lot of home buyer down payment assistance program. It's for first time home buyers, and you have some that's not for first time home buyers.
Before we go to the first time home buyer, what does a not first?
It's like you've owned a home before, and you've decided you want to purchase again, and it's within 3 years.
Okay.
So you're considered a first time home buyer if you have not owned a home in the last 3 years.
You guys hear that, audience? You're considered a first-time home buyer if you have not owned a home in the last 3 years.
And that means even just being on title. So even if grandma said, you know what, baby, I'm going to add you to the title.
Okay.
That you're a homeowner.
Okay.
A lot of people need to know that because I think when we hear first-time home buyers, we thinking that we've just never owned a home. We don't realize for some of us, it could be a matter of we were maybe put on title for inheritance, but we didn't own that property.
Right.
Or we walked away from a home some years ago, but now we're back looking for home ownership.
Right. And there's still a lot of down payment assistance dollars out here. So
it is.
just like today, the announcement came out for the Detroit down payment assistance program, right? Up to $25,000. And it's based on when your realtor writes that contract and it says you have this amount for a down payment, you're putting this amount for earnest money deposit. Then when you get to the lender and the lender says, okay, here's what your fees and all of this is going to be, whatever you put on that, whatever is submitted for that contract, it's going to be up to the $25,000. Okay. So if your need is only 10, then they're only going to give you 10.
Okay, so it's not a full 25.
It's
like
not
it
a full
was.
25.
Okay.
And I think that is really more important because you can help more people, right?
More money spreading
and so
around.
These programs have been, in play for a minute, and the banks still have dollars. So you're stacking. You might be able to stack.
Oh, we can still stack
20 on top of 5, and then
Somebody told me we couldn't stack.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Federal home loan program may have something. So, but it's the lender's going to tell you what you're
so
able to do.
it's a lender discretion depending on your.
Because think about it, some people are working with, like, they have the Section 8 Keys to Home program.
I want to talk about that
and
too.
And they're converting the Section 8 renters into the Section 8 home buyers, where that program is paying for you to own that home. Just like if you were renting, you'll pay your 30% or whatever that is, and then they pay the rest. If you're just a regular buyer, like you have 15 years where they do this, but if you're disabled, my understanding is that they will pay this out for the 30 years and then you own the home, right?
Really?
But even if you just get 15 to get yourself together,
started.
You can be saving that money over time, and on that the 16th year, now you're able to pay out the rest. But if most people are a little smarter than that, right? They'll put a little extra money every month, and then they'll end up paying the house off sooner. So they may not even have a mortgage after 15 years, right? If you do it right.
Are there specific lenders for that Section 8 program, or is
right now? I know there's a few lenders that do it, but I think more are starting to understand how it actually works, because you have to be a part of the voucher program already for like a year or so, and then you have to take that route. You have to, I guess you're put on a list. And I actually missed the session that they did at the Detroit Housing Commission a couple weeks ago, but she has another one coming up in May. So
will you share that with us?
Yeah, so you can really understand if you're a realtor, you're a lender, title company,
or even a landlord, an owner, landlord.
Yeah,
and his tenant is on Section 8. He may be able to sell.
They're doing it down at the Housing Commission to talk about this is how the program works. Here's some of the requirements, and this is so you can have some intelligence around it. I don't know enough about it to talk about it, but I have the basics down. Like, hey, this makes sense, right? And I know people are doing it,
right?
And I know there was First Merchants Bank was doing it, Huntington Bank, I think. And I talked to one other bank, I couldn't remember which one, and they said that they were doing it. But the banks know about these programs. They're stacking these dollars, right?
Wow.
These monies are there, so you could put. And then we just had a meeting yesterday with CHN Housing Partners.
CHN Community Housing Network.
They're working with the Detroit Housing Network. They've partnered with them, and there's another group of housing counseling agencies, and we ain't on there, so I got to talk to them about getting on
Okay.
that list. But they were community CHN told us about a program where they have something at a 570 credit score.
Oh, shoot.
And then they had something else with 100% down. Then they had another one. If you have a 660 credit
So
score,
how do we
this
find
is what
out
they can
about
do.
this stuff as the average?
You know
general
what? When
population?
somebody says there's a resource fair,
We need to be there.
you need to be there.
Yeah.
If somebody says I'm doing a community wealth building day, whatever it is, you need to say, hey, you know what? I'm about to go out here and check this out and see what's going on. And so I can say this now, being a part of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, every year we're doing a community wealth building day.
Okay.
The last 2 years, we did a 100 city Building Black Wealth tour. And we did this it was 105, I think it was 105 cities across the U.S. with all our chapters that we have within NARAB.
Okay.
And we did it all on last year, I think it was April 12th or something like that Saturday. And you remember, because we did the panel discussion,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
heirs property. We talk about all these topics. But we do that because we know that people need resources.
Right.
So this year, it's a lot different. We're not doing the community well building day. We're actually doing they have an affordable bus tour where this bus is starting out in Philadelphia and is going to end in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So with that being said, they're on this bus. They're starting in Philly, going to Baltimore.
Okay.
The third leg is Detroit.
I was going to say,
That's on a
where's
Monday.
the D at in that?
The
So-
Detroit is on there
Okay.
because what they're doing is they're going to cities where they have African American mayors.
Oh.
So they've already, my understanding, National has had that conversation with Mayor Sheffield
Okay.
about what we're doing, to get them on board. And so we're going to have our local politicians there. We're going to have our community members, leaders. We're trying to get everybody in this room, and then we're going to have tables for resources, in there, and have that conversation. So that bus is coming in. We're confirming the location. I want to say it, but it's like, okay,
that's fine.
they haven't confirmed
And
it. But
when is this going to
it's going to be, it's April 27th.
Okay. Is
so-
that the Realtors Week or?
No, it's after the Realtors Week.
Okay.
So
I just want to ask a question. I'm sorry. So with all of the resources, I know you mentioned, just to piggyback, you said people need to come. So with your resource fair, I would say, if you could estimate how much business you generate from that, or how many people that actually follow through and become homeowners.
Unfortunately, in the past, it hasn't been a lot.
Okay.
I know for me, but then too, I'm not the only realtor there.
Okay.
It's many title few title companies. It's a bunch of lenders. So we have not been tracking how many people come through there.
Okay.
But we do generate, a good amount of business from it, overall for everybody. And one of the things we said we needed to do is really start tracking, asking
Yeah.
our lenders,
Your lender partners.
who came through here,
Yeah.
and who are you servicing, and so we could tally those numbers. Because when I first joined the association, one of the presidents had this initiative he was working on. He wanted to do 2 million new homeowners in 5 years.
Okay.
Wow. Is that doable?
But that was back in 2016.
Oh, okay.
So we know that we've increased the gap. We've decreased the gap, right? We
Yeah,
know that we're
yeah.
out here, we're advocating, we have legislative conferences where they're going down to
Okay.
DC and they're advocating. If you go to our NARAB website, there's an advocacy button in there. You click and you'll see the calls to actions there. You'll see the bills for housing that we're advocating for and that we voted for, and we're tracking those things, right? From a national and a local standpoint. Here locally, we have members who are, they're on zoning boards.
Okay.
They're on the land bank. They are.
So they're just pushing housing all through.
We're pushing housing. We're pushing advocacy. We're pushing getting out here and really letting people know that there's resources for you. There's down payment dollars. There's, the mayor just announced with the city of Detroit, the RX Kids, right?
What's
Helping pregnant moms. They give them $1,500, and then for the next 6 months, they get $500 a month to help them start
When is that
journey.
kicking off?
I think it's already kicked off.
Did you hear about that one? The RX Kids? Oh.
Yeah, so you can go to and these things are on the site. Like when you're listening to the radio or you're on Facebook, go, if somebody tells you something, go check it out. If there's a district meeting or a commissioner's meeting or any type of meeting that comes in your neighborhood, you should go. You should get on the mail list so that you know what's happening. Right. Each district in Detroit has a mailing list. I get it. I look on there, and I know Councilman Tate because he goes in my church, right? But I make sure that people, I know people, so when something happens, I can actually go and ask.
So do you take on clients and help them with the home ownership process?
I do.
Okay.
So we do have a class coming up on Saturday.
Okay.
And
that's your home buyers class.
That's the home buyer education class. And a lot of people will just take the class, they'll think about it, and then they'll come back later.
A lot of people do that. I've heard a lot of people became homeowners, not at the end, and later on they come back, and that's how they become homeowners. So do you see more of a success when you do it for your business versus when you do the community involvement?
I see it both.
Okay.
Because when you're out here and you're talking, it's where meeting that person where they are. Yeah. And you could go through the class and decide home ownership ain't for me because I don't want to cut grass. I don't want to repair nothing. Right. I don't want to, or you may say, I'm going to wait because my finances aren't good. Right. You go through the class, you complete the paperwork, you do your counseling session. Right. You go see the lender and you realize for the amount of money you want to spend on a home, you may have to save some more. You may have to work some more. You may need to fix your credit. You may need to do a couple things you need to think about it because it could be a sticker shock, right? Mm-hmm. But if you're paying $1,500 a month and you go see the lender say, hey, I can get you in with everything for $12, it's a no-brainer because now you got $300 to save. That could be your maintenance budget. Right. You can put that in your budget so that if something do break down, you got a little money saved, to pay somebody to cut the grass, to come in and fix something. We talk about home warranties. Why you want that. Hey, and you got some friends that have businesses. Pay these people what they're worth to come out and service you. Don't try to, get cheap service or get something for free. It's like everybody's in business. When folks are in business, they're in business to make a living, right? And some people have some really great, skills. And they're out here doing HVAC. They're painters, they're plumbers, and they're here to service you.
How do you with the resource centers or when those sessions take place, do you guys calculate the amount of people? I don't even know if you asked the question. Renters versus folks that may be living with
we ask up front, hey, when you fill out the intake form, it asks you, where you are in the process. Okay. If you're working with the lender, if you're working with the realtor, are you just thinking? Are you interested in renting? Are you wanting something because you're in a homeless situation or you're about to be in a homeless situation? Or we just say you just want education. Okay. We kind of go with where you are starting. Okay. And I just say, come to the class, listen in, and see if it's for you. Okay. Any class. It doesn't have to be with our organization, which is NID Housing Counseling. It is one of the affiliates of NARAB. Okay. And these counseling offices it's about 60 or so across the U.S. Oh, really? So we have them in a lot of the major cities where we have our local chapters because they're related. They work together. Okay. Like the local chapter may do an event and they may invite the housing counseling agency there to get people registered to participate. With the Community Wealth Building Day we signed people up, to go with education. So there's a lot that goes into doing what you do, right? Mm-hmm. I do this because I'm making a living, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm also doing this because I realize the importance of it. Right. And for me, how I grew up and how we got into home ownership, I was, when I think about that and how it changed me and my perception of living and living a better life. You
just want to bring that to other people. The sense of pride,
it's the ownership. You're in a community. I met, my mother was always just this popular woman, so she knew everybody. And I knew my neighbors because it was our community. Gotcha. But on this block, I got a friend that we're still friends with to this day, right? Okay. Her mother and my mother became best friends. And so when I look at just having that, and that's what people need, that stability, right? Got it. And if you've ever read any articles on what happens when a person gets displaced from being evicted, and just that cycle of spending that extra money to find a temporary
Right.
place, only to have to go back and spend more money to find another permanent place, right? What
It's
happens?
hard. It's
It's
challenging.
hard, and then the kids
Yeah.
can't concentrate in school, and that money that you just spent that you didn't really have, that could have been money to buy clothes for the kids
Food
or
or
food,
grocery- yeah.
and making those decisions. How do I stay in my home? So it's a whole cycle,
process.
and if you're really thinking about, and it's a passion, it's a love.
That's
A lot
what's
of us
key.
do it, and we don't get anything for it except the satisfaction that I
That you
gave
helped and you gave
somebody
back.
some information. Just like earlier when the gentleman was talking about his friend about
Yeah,
to lose
yeah.
her house for taxes out, and the first thing you said, "Oh, she need to sign up
For the whole program. Right.
And I'm like, just do it. Find out about it. And I always tell people, if you can't use the information,
Share it.
give the card or the flyer to somebody
Yeah,
else. Take
yeah.
a picture of it, put it in your phone just in case, and give it to somebody that you think could need it. Don't try to judge whether or not they're good enough for
Right.
it or they used it before.
Right.
Just say, hey, you know anybody, and just pass it on, because there's food distribution programs. There's, the RX kids. There's,
It's just so much.
It's so much, and
something
if you-
for anyone's need, we just need to share that information.
and go to the libraries.
Yeah.
They still post all these flyers in the libraries.
Yeah.
If you go to restaurant, like I live in the Mayfair Park area, which is across from the Evergreen from Rosedale Park. I go in the Sweet Potato Sensations. There's flyers and cards and all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff there, right? We have our meeting at the Java House with for District 1. There's flyers all over that table.
Yeah. No, you're right. Well, what we're going to do, I want to know more about Renee and her success in this real estate industry, but we'll talk about that when we come back from a break.
Cool.
Are you an indie podcast or
Thank you,
content
darling.
creator looking to reach a wider audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcastic, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcastic, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with a growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcastic is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering a range of resources to help you succeed. From tailored promotional campaigns to professional production assistance, we're here to help you shine. Our intuitive platform makes it easy for you to be seen and heard. We do all the heavy lifting for you. You just show up and create. Plus, with our advanced analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with podcasting. Visit our website at www.podcasticlife.com to get started. Podcastic, the home for indie podcast and content creators.
That was a lot of information. We definitely
It's a lot of
appreciate it.
information,
So, needless to say, there's no shortage when it comes from buying a house, maintaining a property, and avoiding foreclosure. So it's out there. They just have to go get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The resources are there, and I tell people, I get the text messages that tell me what's going on when a meeting's happening.
Yeah.
I sign up for the email so I can see. And I learned if you're working on a business, I've gone to the Detroit Means Business fairs and stuff that they
Okay.
have. There's help there,
Okay.
right? If you need some help with your financials, if you need some help with your structure, we just did a session with First Merchants Bank again
Okay.
about your small business lending and putting together business plans.
Oh,
okay.
And for me, I started a business plan probably 6 or 7 years ago, and I
Okay.
had a model that I thought was going to be good. I went through the planning session, and I realized that this ain't a good model, right? I'm not going to make any money. I'm going to help people,
Right.
but people couldn't afford what I was thinking about doing. And I said,
Okay.
I just need to refer that business to somebody that already has that going on. And because I had a bunch of senior clients that were transitioning, downsizing. And I thought, well, they all wanted to stay in their home a little longer.
Right.
So my business model was going to be a step up approach to aging in place, right?
Okay.
Doing a couple of retrofits here, doing some maybe 2 or 3 years. That way they could stay and live independently.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, the clients didn't have the money to pay for a lot of those services, to
Right.
get those updates and stuff done.
Right.
So and I had to go get some more education, and I went through it, and I said, okay, maybe I'm better served because I could do this through housing counseling, you know, working with seniors. I can attend the senior fairs and then lead them to those resources that do it. And if they're looking to downsize and sell their home, then I could pick up a client.
You really have a passion for this.
Oh yeah.
I do, because you know what? When I grew up, I had grandparents, one set on the east side and a set on the west side. And they lived, both of them, one had family, we had a 2-family house. So we had relatives on each floor.
Okay.
And then on the east side, my dad's the oldest of 18.
18 kids.
Yeah.
But they had big families back in the day.
And so I would go to that house. I was there with my aunts and uncles that are my age or younger, my cousins, you know, and I got to know people in the families, and I just saw how the families just were together. And then behind, they all went to Kettering, and then behind Kettering, there was another family house on Sheridan, which was a
That was
two-family.
one of your family houses.
Right.
So y'all was all up and down the block and around the corner.
But when I looked at it, there was a few that owned their home, but a lot of people rented and this. And so,
especially in those multi-families.
right. And to this day, my family is still over there on Joy Road in Martindale in that house. And the block is not many houses left, but they are still the community with walking with the neighbors, going down the street and check on the neighbors, taking the neighbor food.
Okay.
You know, when my aunt does gatherings, she still invites her neighbors.
So it's still the big family. We all
still
want.
the big family, and that's
That's
big for you.
to me that's my grounding.
Yeah.
Those are the people that when they thought that I was just the best person, that I always had it together, that I was so strong, and I'm like, no, you guys held me up. I said, when I left you don't know I was in the room crying.
Yeah.
You don't know that I was like, I can't do this no more. Everybody looking at me want me. I'm like,
They want you to be the strong one,
right.
and you like, I need y'all.
And now we've had some tragedies in our family. You know, we recently lost, one of my aunts, and I'm still trying to get through that.
Yeah.
But I know that my aunt, who it was her sister, she needs more than I need, because that was her ride or die.
Right.
Right. And so when I look at family, I'm like, where do you have family need to have a place to go?
Okay.
You need to have a place for those dinners. You need to have a place for those birthdays. A place to kick it, right?
Yeah, like grandma's house.
And that grandma's house became
What to
the
do
aunt's
with it,
house
yeah.
after grandma passed away.
Yeah.
But I always knew, and we said this at my aunt's funeral, we always knew when we went to that door and we knocked on that door that my aunt or my grandmother was going to answer that door. After my grandmother passed, it was my aunt. And so that sense of home, even though, you don't see the person as much, you always knew you had a place to go. So it's
one place.
And that's where when people feel they have a home, and I have a friend that says, if you don't belong to nobody, I don't want to be around you, right? And I didn't really understand what she meant by that.
Yeah.
But later on, when she described it, because it made me think about it, because she's the owner of a nonprofit for women who've been sexually assaulted.
Okay.
And she said, we see this all the time, where people are displaced, where people don't have people to rely on, or people to call when there's a tragedy. And then she said, and usually it's by somebody that don't have a grounding. They don't belong to anybody, so they're just out here just doing
that makes
whatever.
sense.
And she said, I don't want to be around nobody who don't belong to nobody.
Okay.
And one day we were just out hanging, and we was among some friends, and every time somebody came up, she would say, do you belong to anybody? And we got a laugh out of it, but we talked about it
meant
more.
something. Right.
And that's what it means to me, is like, I belong to Emma because I know Emma.
Right.
We've created a friendship from just our
community.
interactions.
Right.
My community with the home buyer education folks, the community with our local chapter for NARAB, my community of people I went to high school with. We still do a lot of stuff. And so I look at that as the community is the founding for me.
Okay.
And that's what's keep me grounded and keep me going on those days when I can't go, right? Because I graduated from Redford High School. I left and went to Alabama State University. I wanted to go to an HBCU. I was going to stay here and go to Michigan State, but I was like, no, I'm getting out of Detroit, right? I went there and learned the difference in the educations.
Okay.
Right? When you go to an HBCU versus just a regular college, They're preparing you for the hardships that you're going to face for your race and your culture and in your community.
Right.
So you can't get that. You couldn't. That was priceless.
Yeah, you couldn't get that in Wayne County community.
No.
To help you really understand that you had to push. You have to get out there and you're going to get your teeth kicked in. You going to get hit over the head.
Yeah.
You going to get
You gotta
bugged a
fight
couple
for
times.
what's
You're going to have
yours.
to get up and keep fighting. And I thought about it. I said, well, I used to go on the east side and fight with my uncles all the time. I'm ready. Like,
Right.
what y'all got, right? And so, but looking at that and fast forward, I worked in IT. Then I said, you know what? I'm going to get my real estate license.
Okay.
And me and my friend went and did it together.
Okay.
And we partnered and worked as a team. And then she decided, nope, I'm going to focus more back on work. And I still did
You still
both.
do the real estate.
And then when there was, I had a contract that I was working. And then when they canceled all the contracts for all the contractors, I was like, well, I got real estate
To fall back on.
And what I
Right.
was doing was building before I left that 9 to 5 because I needed the additional income to do the extra education. I spent a lot of money on education and conferences and building my skills and building my knowledge so that I was confident enough to be able to get out here and get rejected.
Okay.
Right? I ain't want to buy. I don't want to buy from you. Or I ain't got no money
How
right
does
now.
that, how do you deal with that? I mean, when you say to be confident enough to get out here and get rejected, you're preparing yourself. Well, I was counting on that income. It's not going to happen.
Girl, you can lose
So-
a deal in a minute.
Yep. That's why you always got to have something in your pipeline.
You work to build a pipeline. Right now, it's tight because they're cutting funding, budgets, jobs,
Yeah.
cutting education, state fund. It's like, and people are scrounging like, well, I want to buy a house, but I can't afford it
Yeah,
right
because
now.
look at Chrysler. They didn't even get their profit sharing check. So just imagine how many people was relying on that to buy a house. Like, been all
to
year
buy a
working.
house, they use that money to pay their taxes.
Yep.
And this is what we were talking about when we were saying, see if when you do your taxes, if you qualify for a tax credit.
Okay.
Because maybe you missing a tax credit, and a lot of people will use that, can use that tax credit to pay
And how
those
would
taxes.
they do that?
Your accountant.
Okay.
If you got the right person doing your taxes,
Yeah.
you can't be letting your cousin do your taxes and they not an accountant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to go to somebody that can say, hey, you know what? You qualify for this.
Right.
You know, you got to go out here and go to these community workshops and meetings, find out what's happening in your local community, what the city's doing, what's coming down the pipeline, but also find out the legal aid, the accounting aid society. In this building, I got my taxes
The building
done.
we're in right now?
Yes, by Markway Boyd up there. He's a real
She
estate.
all
He's
up in the
an
building talking
attorney.
about Mark.
He's an attorney and
tax accountant.
Tax accountant.
Okay.
And I had some stuff going on. I was like, I don't know what this is.
Right.
What
Well, he got you together.
Need you to fix this.
got me together, and a lot of other people. Then I found out that our treasurer for our group used him for our chapter taxes.
Do you I don't, and you correct me if I'm wrong, do you participate in helping folks repair their credit too, or you shift that to someone?
I give it to the people that can help them do it.
Okay, so that's because you just do the preparing them from a
I
home
just
buyer,
get doing the education.
and they get a certificate, right?
Once they complete the education, all the documentation, and turn that in, and we do the counseling session, that's when the certificate is issued that says you completed the process.
Okay,
So that's what you do.
that's what you
Okay.
do.
That's what I do for that process right there.
Is that
Okay.
within building the credit too? Just someone
No,
different?
well,
or-
we'll look if they. This is another thing. A lot of people don't want to submit their credit report because they don't want you to know how good or how bad it is.
but how can you
Really?
help them? How can you help them if they don't?
I'll ask them, can you go on Credit Karma? Can you go to annualcreditreport.com? If you feel comfortable submitting it, submit it. If you don't, let me just take a look at it. I write the numbers down and just go from there. If they don't say, well, my score is this, and I'll say, well, do you know, or you just guessing?
Right.
And a lot of times people are just guessing.
Yeah.
I'm like, just go check it out, see, and then let's have a conversation about it. But even if you don't give it to me, when you go to the lender's going to pull your credit
You got to
anyway.
give it to somebody.
And I say, so whatever documents you give me are the same ones you give to the lender. If you've already gone to the lender and the lender says,
Yeah.
now you got to go to counseling, then you've already submitted those documents to the lender. I need those documents plus this intake form. We do the budget. We talk about.
So you do budgeting with them too?
Yeah, they have to fill out their budget, like all the money they're spending. I always ask people, track what you spend for a whole month.
That's terrible.
I can't do that.
I'm on.
But a lot of people use a debit card, right? So if you
Yeah.
can't track what you're spending for a month, then go online to your debit card and run a report. And you can see all your Starbucks.
Sticker
you
shocker.
can see all your.
Don't talk about the Starbucks.
No,
and the,
you can see all of your.
and the DoorDashes and the. Yeah.
Well, I'm making it a point. I'm not doing Starbucks. I make my own medicine ball, and I'm real good at it now.
Oh, shit.
My medicine ball is better than Starbucks.
Oh, you heard
cheaper.
that, right? Her
and it's
medicine ball
cheaper.
better.
It's cheaper. But,
Okay.
But I'm also going to local coffee shops, right?
Yeah,
Because we
you gotta
got
support the
We got a
business.
bunch of them, in the area.
We just went to one of James' cousins.
Beautiful.
It's not beautiful. It was something
Sip.
else.
The Lodge.
It's something Lodge
something
Cafe.
Lodge Cafe.
Oh, I need to go there.
Oh, it's nice.
It's real nice.
It's only open on Saturdays and Sundays, but it's nice.
Yes.
That's a meetup place.
Yes,
Yes.
that's exactly
When
what
you doing
it
your
was.
meetup for breakfast, like, will you be doing stuff like, hey, I'm out here, call me for breakfast?
Oh no, we so big. I mean, as
I know.
crazy as you guys say the market is shifting, we're super busy, like crazy busy.
There's still people have to.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of people buying and selling. You still
Yeah.
got a great group of people, but then you still have a large group of people who can't and who won't because of the market. So the business is out there, and it's different levels, right?
Yeah.
And at the level where they need the income, and like the mayor just announced that they're giving, people getting raises. They're gonna have the work. They're working on workforce development, right?
Yeah.
So those folks making $15 an hour
Supposed to
now
go up to
gonna
what,
be
21?
$21.
Oh, wow.
That makes a better market. So now
Yes.
people have more confidence to get out here and say, hey, I'm
wanna
not
buy
just
a
scrounging to buy groceries to take care of the kids. I got a little extra money.
right.
I can fire my landlord.
Yes. Shout out to Sade.
Fire my landlord.
Because there's a lot that there's a lot going on.
Yeah, it is.
Right.
And at different levels. Now everybody ain't buying, the $1 million houses.
Yeah.
It's hard to sell a $500,000 house here in Detroit, but you can sell 3 or 4,
150,
yeah,
right,
which
right.
is where our affordable area is between 70 and 150 for
Okay.
people. And in Detroit, that's a good house.
It is.
And if you look at the inventory, those land bank houses and them $10,000 shacks or frames that were just sitting around, people are buying those things and they're rehabbing
Yes,
them. And
they
I
are.
see them when I'm doing my comparables, right? When I'm looking at stuff, and occasionally I do BPOs for the bank.
Okay.
And I'm looking at these houses. I'm like, ooh, this is nice. Ooh, but then there's a wide range, right? You get a range from 70 to 199, and that company is saying, why is this range so wide? Because
Right.
that's what's in our market. On the low end, it looked like this.
And on the high
On the
end,
high end, it looked like
Right,
this.
right.
So, but there's still plenty of opportunity. You just have to figure out where you are in the market and what you want to do. I had been, because I had so much stuff to do and I was involved in so much, I'm like, okay, I got to finish this because I'm on the Fair Housing Center board for
Okay.
Metropolitan Detroit. That's a whole nother thing with testing and stuff, and still seeing that there is discrimination out in the market.
Wow.
Yeah,
People
it
are
is.
still being taken advantage of. So, and then funding,
Yeah.
every organization that was partially nonprofit or that was depending on grants,
it's on hold right now.
some of them on hold, then they got the money back, then they found out they're not going to get as much as they got the year before, and then some of them are saying, well, we're not going to get this money, so now we got to look at other philanthropic organizations where we can get money, or how do we raise funds, because this stuff isn't free.
Right.
Somebody has to pay for it. And
Yeah.
although HUD pays for the counseling, you still got to pay for
Staffing.
the paperwork,
Yeah.
the marketing,
Yeah.
doing these classes, your Zoom accounts, and all of those things, right? It's still a business of something that people have to pay. So, and I'm always saying that, there's a market to help people, but there's also a market to get paid.
So tell us about this appraisal journey that you're on, and what made you tap into wanting to pursue becoming an appraiser?
Because being part of an organization that's thinking about multiple income streams, so
Okay.
that when real estate's slow, you have something else going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had a meeting with one of our Fannie Mae Fannie Mae reps was here in town to look at our center,
Right.
our housing counseling office, and she says, "Hey, I'm going up the street to this meeting. Where is this place?" And I said, "Oh, well, it's right. We were on Woodward at the time." I said, "Oh, it's right up there." And I said, "Well, where you going?" And she said, "It's a meeting about it's with the Appraisal Institute. Appraisal." Then it was the Appraisal Diversity Institute. They
Okay.
changed it to the Appraisal Development Institute now.
Okay.
Oh.
So she said, "I'm going up here to the meeting. They're going to be talking about the appraisal biases and getting more people of color into the
Our
appraisal
housing market for appraisal.
for appraisals."
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, I probably should go up there with you." She said, "Yeah, you should." And I get there, and there's 2 or 3 other people that I knew, and I was like, "Well, how did you guys know about this?" And I didn't. Well,
Right.
somebody got the information and didn't pass it along. They
damn.
kept it for themselves and gave it to like maybe one person. 'cause
Get
they
out of
talk-
here.
People do that shit.
So that's what happened. And when
Share the knowledge.
when I
Share
saw the
knowledge.
person, I was like, okay, yeah, I understand.
Okay.
But I went, and it was the Urban League was there.
Okay.
Flagstar Bank was there. Fannie Mae, Freddie
Wow.
Mac.
Okay.
And then as I investigated further, it was also part of our National Association of Real Estate Brokers. Our NID president, they were working with this team on the appraisal biases. And then our national organization, they wrote a report on appraisal biases, black and white. They did a report. They did the Sheba report to talk
Okay.
about the numbers and the
Is it
disparity.
really huge with appraisal biases in our
Yeah.
in our market?
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember the stories that they were telling about the people who had to whitewash the house and
Yeah,
take away,
take all their pictures down.
And the first appraisal they got was $400,000 less than, or 150 or 400.
Yeah.
It was something like
They were
that.
trying to refinance their house.
They was just trying to do a refinance?
Yes.
So when you hear those types of stories, so then they did that, and then another one, I think they received a not so favorable appraisal.
Okay.
And then they had somebody else of another color to go in there and had that place appraised again, and it appraised for this value. So those things were still going on.
So, but can't you appeal? Like, if you have an
You can.
appraisal done, and as an owner, you're not happy.
You can
with
ask
it.
for a reconsideration.
Yes.
Yeah.
But at the
would you
same
get
time-
a different appraiser?
No.
No, they just review the report and then go back and compare comparables.
And so we had this. Remember, we had the conversation
Yeah.
the other day with the appraiser, and he said, yeah, you can do it, but what I learned from the studies that I've been doing, they'll do the review, but because their reputation is on the line, and they gave this value, because it
They
is
wanna
a value.
stand
It's not
behind it.
like as
Right.
a real estate broker, I can or an agent, I can give a range. I can't give an exact value.
Right.
Okay.
They're giving a professional opinion, and that value is signed on that appraisal.
Oh, so that's like their certification.
That's their
So-
certification. So
Okay.
if they got to go back and change that, what do they
Okay.
think that says about them?
Got it.
So and then some of them, they, like with anything else, when you get a little power, you think
You throwing the sauce around. Okay.
you can do that, and can't nobody challenge me because I know what I'm talking about. And this is
That's so
I'm not.
unfortunate.
You might get 5,000, you might get 10, and you're still saying like really.
Yeah.
So as
But
folks,
our properties have been undervalued for so long.
Yes.
Okay.
Even though
Yes.
these taxes was high, our values,
Just
they
did
had
not-
suppressed the
Because you know
values in
what?
Detroit forever.
I promise you, I feel like there's no difference between our city or when you look at like Long Beach, California, or if you look at New York. You know what I mean? Like, same neighborhood, same dynamic, right? Same gentrification, same thing. So it bothers me when someone says, "Oh, I'm not paying this to go live in Detroit." Like, okay, but
You're
then
gonna pay it to live somewhere else because that same
Yes.
house is gonna cost you more, and then you end up paying the same amount.
exactly.
Now, you might get maybe a couple different services, but now when you look at everybody's trying to get in Detroit because the 4 sports teams are downtown,
Yeah.
because of what's happening here, all of the incentives for your business, all of the incentives for help,
Yes.
period, right?
Yes. Right.
Now everybody wants to be here. And it's,
Yeah.
everybody's sucking up all the resources and things. And people
Yeah.
are saying, well, I know you can do it if you just get up off your couch and go to
They gotta get
whenever
up
your community, your district meet,
gotta get
go
up
to that
off that
district
couch.
meeting.
she said the couch though. So how long before you will have your appraisal certification and you can break some barriers and make a difference in
Listen.
our community?
I'm on class number 6. I got 2 more to go. And
And
I
then
was
you got-
laughing because me and another lady in our group, we were started at the same time, but she was on a 2-month class program. I was on a 3-month class program, and you can get an additional 30 days for getting through the class.
Okay.
Because
How long is the class?
it's a self-study class unless you take a 2-week. Like you can take the classes in a 2-week time frame.
But that's cramming it, right?
That's cramming it.
Okay.
And then you only have X amount of time. You might have a month to do the class, and then maybe you can ask for an extra month to study to take the test.
Okay.
So for me, I'm like, I gotta work, I gotta make money, and I couldn't afford to do that.
But we
right?
need you out here now, so we need
Listen,
you to accelerate.
But it's not just that, right? It's the education, and after each class, you got to study and take a test after each class.
Oh, so there's layers to this.
It's like, and you can't get to the next class until you pass the test for the
other
first
one.
one. And because I've had to work and do other things,
Yeah. It's
a little bit
every
slow.
class I ask for, I get an extension.
So of color, about how many appraisers do we have in Detroit right now? Do you know? Or in
you
Michigan?
know what? I actually know of color, probably 7 or 8 appraisals.
That's it? Mm-hmm. Wow.
So it's only like 7 or 8 black appraisers.
That I know.
That you know of.
That's not all of them.
Yeah,
But
my bad.
I've met the ones that everybody else knows.
Okay.
There might be 1 or 2 more that
Just kind of low key
Right.
under the radar, but
Right.
for the most part.
Well,
And
you
then they
know
have to
what?
be on like an approved list
But-
or something, right?
so the banks use an
How much time
appraisal
we got?
management company.
It's we probably got like 3 minutes.
yeah,
She
the bank-
didn't give us the signal.
Yeah. Well, the banks use a management company,
Okay.
and they round robin it. They just
so
if you're
okay.
not on with that company,
Appraisal
you may not
management
get you might not get the assignment.
Okay.
Well,
But
you
you
know
still
what?
I still got to do some training hours.
We need to hurry up. We
pass
need to
the
hurry
test
up.
out.
Hurry
Yeah.
up. Hurry up.
So-
What was you going to say, Marty?
I was going to say thank you. You are a wealth of knowledge.
Yes.
Like, just wealthy. Tell
And
the
your
people,
passion.
Yep. And
Yeah.
tell the people where they can find you at, Renee.
They can find me at reneejohnson.realtor. That's ReneeJohnson.realtor. RealTor. My number is 313-318-5096. And I'm out here. I'm working. Yes, I need business. I can give you some referrals, but think about it. Hey, I got to eat too, right?
That part.
Okay.
That
All right.
part.
And Emma, where can the people find you
You
at?
can always find me at that house on 985 East Jefferson, Detroit, Michigan, the heart of the city. Facebook, Instagram, and
Yep.
of course, you can call me. Thanks a lot, people.
All right. And as always, you can find me, Broker Marlisha Darnell, across all platforms. We'll see you back next Thursday at 12 o'clock.
Are you an indie
Take
podcast
care.
or content
Thank
creator
you.
looking to reach a
Thank
wider
you.
audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcastic, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcastic, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with a growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcastic is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering a range of resources to help you succeed. From tailored promotional campaigns to professional production assistance, we're here to help you shine. Our intuitive platform makes it easy for you to be seen and heard. We do all the heavy lifting for you. You just show up and create. Plus, with our advanced analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with podcasting. Visit our website at www.podcasticlife.com to get started.